Hello everyone, this is CJ Novo 992 and today we are back with another brand new video. Today's our video, we are back for the second time today as the midweek fixtures are back. Yes! It is against Hibs though, which is boo. What am I doing? Truly the worst intro to ever hit YouTube. To one side, there is a massive game upon the horizon, but before we go ahead and break down everything that needs to be broken down ahead of the game, a bit of a cheap plug, but if you enjoy the channel, even though the intro was just absolutely awful. But if you enjoy the channel, why not help the channel out by hitting that subscribe button? It's free, it doesn't cost you a penny, and it just helps us all on our way to hopefully one day reaching the channel dream of 55k. But as this is double upload day we've already had in our podcast, let's get on with the show then, shall we? And starting off, as always, with the old oppositional preview, we of course face Hibernian, who currently sit 4th in the SPFL table. And I'll be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, I find it very, very interesting to be able to preview this Hibernian side, because you think of it, the last time that we played them was on Boxing Day when we bet them at Ibrox 1-0. But if you remember, we didn't have a preview video because it was Christmas Day and I didn't want to put you off your Christmas dinner having to look at this. The last time on this channel that we spoke about Hibs was way back in September when we drew 2 each at Easter Road. But regarding the most recent game, which was of course at Ibrox, I think we can all agree the Hibernian side played their part in the game. It was a tough, grueling match that we had to get the ball down, we had to battle for it, and we had to earn that win over Hibernian. Something, by the way, their fans are still talking about. You know, that "we gave Rangers a good game" trophy they've been branding about all season. But all joking and all that aside, what I find so damn interesting about this Hibs side, right, is they did actually give us a game. And when you look at their football team, they have got good players, in fact very dangerous players, especially for the Scottish game. But were they able to take that performance versus Rangers, in which won them loads of plaudits and then like that, and take that and build on that and go and take that in the next game and go on a great run? No, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, it went the exact opposite. They, by no stretch of the imagination, took several steps back after getting beat at Ibrox as a team and just looked flat out ordinary or worse over the next couple of weeks. Because you look at it, their next game after giving us a good game at Ibrox was at home versus Ross County, who at that point had just appointed John Hughes a couple of weeks ago and hadn't had a win, right? So they had their ass kissed all week and they were heavy favourites to pump Ross County Easter Road, but it didn't happen, ladies and gentlemen, as Big Yogi got his first win as Ross County manager as they bet Hibs at home 2-0, which was a bit of a shock and everyone was scratching their heads. But their next game gave them a perfect opportunity to show that was just a little blip, and it was another game at home, this time versus Livingston, who again were on a great run of form. But still, Hibernian at home, you're expecting them today, son, but they never is. It turned to back-to-back home losses as they go beat 3-0 this time. Now, all this, by the way, is fantastic viewing for me, and it's fantastic for me to say, and I'm sure it's fantastic for a lot of people to hear in today's video, but it isn't just all downward spiral for Hibernian this season, because once again, they showed that they are the ultimate Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde side this season, because just after playing 2 games at home and getting played off the park, especially in that Livingston game, they went to Parkhead, and yes, they were missing a couple of players, but they still had 7 players that started the Old Firm and still should have won that game. But Hibernian turned up and bossed the majority of the match. Now, yes, Hibernian did rely on a last-minute equaliser from the very, very dangerous and very impressive Nisbet, but the majority of the game, Hibernian were well and truly in control, and I think they took confidence from not only that result, but that performance, because their next game versus Kilmarnock, Hibs started to look like the team that everyone says they are. Fast, playing the ball across the ground, nipping and going after teams, as they comfortably bet Kilmarnock 2-0, which made everyone go, right, there, they're back to normal now, just in time for the semi-final. A semi-final, by the way, that they were heavy favourites to not only win, but go ahead and lift the entire trophy, given the teams that was actually left. But the semi-final came and went, and I can truly say this without exaggeration, they barely kicked a ball in that semi-final, as they were absolutely roasted 3-0 versus St Johnstone, who just wanted it more, who chased them down in packs, and who just went after them and didn't allow Hibernian today what they wanted today. It was an embarrassing performance for Hibernian, and that's why you're hearing a lot of the moans and the groans from the Hibs fans, because that performance for the players was simply not good enough in a competition and a trophy they had one hand in at the semi-final stage. And all that right there leaves this Hibs preview in such a weird place, because it should be an easy game of football, because on paper Hibs right now are one of the worst teams in the SPFL, but yet every single person watching today's video knows it will only be the same Hibs team that we faced, the Mora, that limped their way out a semi-final. They'll be right up for this, for the first whistle to the last. And all digs and all that aside, this Hibs side with the players that they have and that attitude and that mindset will make tomorrow's game an absolute test for these Rangers players. A test, by the way, that the Rangers players will need to step up and attack the exact same way as we attacked Ross County if we want to come away with all 3 points. And you know, son, that's kind of where I'm sitting with this game of football as we finish up the oppositional preview and stop talking about this tough but inconsistent Hibs side and get to the Rangers side of today's video, because a lot is being made of Gerrard's record at Easter Road, having only 1 win there in our travels. But again, to me, I think this game will only be as hard as we allow it to be. And I'm not being arrogant or egotistical or even disrespectful to the Hibs test that's coming up at Easter Road. I'm actually just paying respect to the Rangers team, especially under Steven Gerrard, because a lot has been made of that 1 win at Easter Road, but a lot of our performances at Easter Road have been fantastic, and we've just got in our own way and sort of bet ourselves or held ourselves back in those games. You think of it, in our last visit there, in the first game this season, a silly defensive error for the first goal and an even bigger one in the second, where we had numerous opportunities to clear it. We got caught faffing about with the ball. Yes, it was offside, but still, that was on us to get the ball away. And that stretches not only from this season but previous seasons under Steven Gerrard. He even spoke about it during this week's press conference. The gaffer went ahead and said he thinks a double-digit clear-cut goal-scoring opportunities that they've had at Easter Road that they've not been able to go ahead and make. And that summarises it all, and that is why I said this test will only be as tough as we allow it to be. If we stop getting in our way and we play at our best, I am confident that we can go there and pick up all 3 points. Speaking of the Rangers press conference, and speaking of the gaffer, by the way, he gave us an update on 2 players that I think will play a big part in if we are able to come away with all 3 points. The first one is going to be Ryan frickin' Jack, who came through unscathed in the last man of the match performance versus Ross County. And this is going to be the last time we speak about Ryan Jack in terms of injury news, because he's by it, he's through it, he's good to go, and I'm pretty damn sure he'll be in that starting 11 versus Hibs the Mora. And I think he will have a massive part to play to kind of slow down and sort of sniff out the danger that Hibs clearly have on the counter-attack. But there's another man who's also edging just that little bit closer to the starting 11, and that is your man Roofe, who again got another positive update, and he's been through more sessions in his legs. Now, I know some people will point out Roofe was on the bench versus Ross County, but I think we all knew he wasn't coming on. That was just an emergency if moment having him there to bring on. But now he's edged closer, and there's a conversation, because he's been confirmed to be in the squad for tomorrow. So there's a conversation there to see if Roofe will be back starting, because remember, when the injury first happened, it was this game that was scheduled or pinpointed as the return mark for Roofe. So it's going to be interesting to see if he starts. Me personally, I don't think he will, but I do think he'll come on and he'll add something to this game of football, especially the later it goes. If we are chasing a goal, if we are needing a goal, I think being able to bring his talent off the bench could be what separates 1 point from 3 in the game tomorrow. Now, the next 2 players that we need to talk about unfortunately won't be involved in the game tomorrow, but it is positive news, so I'll share that with you. Scotty, Arfield and Katic continue to progress very, very well, and it won't be long until we see both back in a Rangers shirt. And you know something, ladies and gentlemen, that's almost it for the old video. That is the oppositional preview, that is the Rangers conversation, and that is the latest team news as well ahead of the game of football. Now we need to take all of that information and try to predict, which is always a very tough game at Easter Road, down there in the comment section below. And while you guys are hopefully getting your thoughts and opinions out there, and as Rocky is eating his bone, I'm not sure if it's coming up on the mic, bone break, I will now give you my opinion or prediction on in the old game. And again, forming that for me gets flung at the window. I think it will be very difficult. I think it will be very tough, but I do think we'll just have enough to come away with all 3 points. And I believe in the team, ladies and gentlemen. What's wrong with that? I think it's going to be the old channel favourite, Rangers 2, Hibs 1, which will mean a bit of nippy bum time, but I do think it will maybe be a little bit more comfortable than maybe what the scoreline suggests. My goal scorers are going to be Alfredo Morelos, and I think Roofe from the old bench. And now that me, thee and Rocky have had their say in today's video, it's time to wrap this bad boy up. And again, if you've got involved in the comment section below, I will be seeing yous very, very shortly. But before I wrap up, as always, a massive thank you for taking time out your day to sit here and talk about Rangers things with me. And if you watch the 2 videos, you're an absolute channel legend, and I couldn't thank you enough. I'll see you tomorrow after the game of football. Take care of yourselves, all the best, and bye-bye.